With all that Providence Place offers, the one word that describes it is easy. From the maintenance-free living to leaving the cooking to someone else. And maybe best of all, the easy new friendships that say, you're home. Call today.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
The Mass and March for Life were held in Springfield. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story coming up.
I'm Nick Morganelli at Mary Farm in Palmer with their newest residents, Sisters Maria, Alfonsa, and Venetia of the Adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. Wait till you hear the story of how they ended up here.
I'm Steve Kiltonic. With Holocaust Remembrance Day next week, I'll have the remarkable story of Henny Lewin, a child survivor of the Holocaust who escaped a Lithuanian ghetto.
It's all just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. Hope you're staying warm this winter weekend. The annual local Mass and March for Life took place this past Thursday at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield. Bishop William Byrne celebrated the Mass, telling those gathered that each and every person is loved and willed by God. The Mass was also attended by many young people from throughout Western Massachusetts. Carolee McGrath was there and has more.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope.
With great joy, Bishop William Byrne processed into St. Michael's Cathedral Thursday, January 22nd, joined by his brother priests to celebrate Mass and to celebrate life. More than 400 people gathered for the annual Mass and March for Life, held on the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, which legalized abortion in 1973. Even though the Supreme Court overturned that decision a few years ago, Massachusetts still has one of the most progressive abortion laws in the country. In his homily, Bishop Byrne spoke of a friend's mother who had her 11th baby in her 40s. The baby, now an adult, has Down syndrome. His name is Andy.
And the call for us all today is to gather together and to celebrate the precious gift of life, to stand up in the world for the Andys who don't have a voice, but you and I do. That's our call today, is to defend life and to let the world know. To call them to repentance means to call them to joy, to life and to love.
The Mass will be broadcast on Chalice of Salvation. Students from Pope Francis Preparatory School in Springfield help organize the event each year, along with Pro-Life of Pioneer Valley. They're joined by high school students from St. Mary's High School in Westfield and Catholic schools from all across the diocese, as well as homeschoolers. Why is this important to be here today?
It's important to me because human life starts at conception, and those children are a gift from God.
It's important to speak for these unborn babies, and it provides a local witness.
Everyone was created equally, and I don't think people should be judging based off of disability or how someone looks, or like what they wear and stuff like that. Everyone's life is equally as important as the next person's.
I believe it's important to stick up for the unborn because Jesus is giving them life, and they are a new life to come, and life is very important.
Watch out for the ice. After the Mass, the high school students held a sign that read, "Celebrate Life," as they led the crowd on a short march to Springfield City Hall. There, Bishop Byrne led the students in prayer. This peaceful witness wasn't about politics, but about people, about babies in particular, and their moms and their dads. And the crowd that gathered here today believes that women deserve better than abortion, and that babies should always be welcomed. That sweatshirt speaks volumes, and I know the Knights of Columbus are very pro-life. Why was it important for you to be here today?
Well, just exactly that, because we are proudly sponsors of the pro-life movement. We defend life. Everything that we do goes, is defending the life, and we just always want to get that message out that the Knights of Columbus is a pro-life movement.
Father Dan Pekalik is the director of pro-life activities for the Diocese of Springfield. He, along with Bishop Byrne, have emphasized the Walking with Moms program to provide practical help to women in need. There are several pregnancy centers in the Diocese of Springfield that do just that, but he adds the public witness is important.
When someone sees that group marching down State Street or on the steps of City Hall, if one person thinks twice about a decision that they will make, or even a past decision. We forget that sometimes we make choices and later live with them and bear the hurt of that, to seek healing for it. So it's got so many ways that it can touch people by the public witness. If we stay just behind our four walls, it's beautiful for us, but we need to let the world know that there are those who stand for life.
And so the congregation was sent out on mission to witness to the gospel with great joy and to stand in love for life.
Because God loves life, so we all say together, celebrate life!
Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And still to come on Reel to Reel, Catholic Schools Week is coming up next week. I'll talk with Catholic Superintendent of Schools, Maria Wagner, about Catholic education here in the Diocese of Springfield. And with International Holocaust Remembrance Day coming up this week, Steve Kiltonick will have the incredible first-hand account of a child survivor. It's all still ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this
see 1, 2, 2, and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
I think one of the best parts of Providence Place is the peace you feel when you walk in. And they do have a lot of things going on here. Puzzle table, card games, outings. It's really been a great place for me. I'm glad I'm here.
Call today.
And I'm joined now by Maria Wagner, Diocesan Superintendent of Catholic Schools, to tell us all about something very special that's going to be happening this coming week, even though right now we're in the middle of a snowy, dark winter and it's very cold. We have a bright light coming up this week, right?
Absolutely. This week is National Catholic Schools Week throughout the country, and all Catholic schools throughout the country celebrate. The theme is United in Faith and Community. And all the schools will get together and celebrate the schools, the families, the teachers, the pastors, and everything that we have that involves Catholic schools.
Mm-hmm. So I was at St. Thomas the Apostle School last week doing a story that's going to be showing up next weekend on Reel to Reel. And the kids were already excited. They were talking about it. They were thrilled. They look forward to this day. It's almost like probably their favorite week of the whole year, right?
It is a great week because we celebrate faith and community, and we do that by having special masses, having special events throughout the week that celebrate the students, of course, the fact that we learn about Jesus and that we have a great environment for our kids to learn. We also celebrate our teachers, our principals, and every day there's something different to enjoy. Sometimes they have ice cream parties. The Globetrotters are coming to some schools. Wow. We celebrate vocations. We honor our pastors and our teachers and our families, of course. And anybody who has something to do with the school is honored because it takes everybody to have a wonderful school.
Yeah. So the teachers equally, you said, look forward to this. So what do they plan in their classrooms? I know you gave a few examples.
Sometimes they do bingo day with the grandparents who visit the schools. We have a lot of open houses, so we showcase what goes on in the classroom, some special contests. Bingo is always a good one to do.
crafts. They probably
They
have a lot
do
of things that they
crafts.
hang up all over the place.
And they do writing exercises to say what makes your school so great and why is it that you love your Catholic school, and we post those all throughout the school so that visitors can see what a great place it is and why they love coming and learning at a Catholic school.
Yeah, so if you had a parent who was getting ready to put their child into school, like a 4-year-old or so, what would you tell them is so important and so special about Catholic education?
The schools are a community. We're united in faith and community, so it's just a great place for the students to spend most of their day, but they go home with what they've learned in school. They've learned about how to love Jesus, how to know all about him, how to serve like him, and they take that home with them. So even families get to partake in what's happening in the learning of the school. So it becomes a nice circular thing that the home benefits from. The children love their place in school, and then they take it home with them.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. So you're going to be having open houses, right, for Catholic schools?
Yeah, every school has an open house. Sometimes they're in the weekend, sometimes they're during the week, so that you can see what's happening in the classrooms. But the schools have websites that will show when their open houses are. But even if you don't make that open house, you can just call the school and they'd be happy to give a tour and walk you around the schools. We love having visitors. So call the school if you can't make the open house that they have listed, but they'll have definitely a lot of open houses this week and throughout the rest of the year, the school year.
And you're going to be visiting all of them this week too?
Yes, my first visit is out to the Berkshires. We have a special mass in the Berkshires with all 3 of the schools out there. Bishop goes out to that mass. Hopefully the weather will be good tomorrow. And then throughout the week I visit and enjoy all the different activities that they have at the schools. One of our schools is going to see the movie, David and Goliath movie.
Oh, excellent. Wow.
And so that'll be a lot of fun for them. My first and second graders at St. Michael's are doing that. So there's a lot of different activities. And a lot of times the kids choose what they want to do. And it's a great week. It's a great week.
Well, we're looking forward to showcasing it next week on Reel to Reel. And thank you so much for being with us today, Maria Wagner.
Thank you, Sharon.
And we have a listing of our Catholic schools and their open houses at diospringfield.org/Catholic schools, and consider the gift of Catholic education for your child or grandchild. In gratitude for a miraculous physical healing, a Palmer dairy farm was donated in 1985 to the local Blue Army Group, a global lay organization dedicated to Our Lady of Fatima. Transformed by volunteers, it became the national shrine of the Apostolate of the Suffering, called Mary Farm, a place of prayer and retreat, especially for people with disabilities. This past fall, Mary Farm welcomed 3 new residents, members of the Sisters of the Adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. Nick Morganelli attended a special Mass celebrated by Bishop William Byrne, welcoming the sisters to the Diocese of Springfield.
Bishop William Byrne, joined by several priests, celebrated a Mass to officially welcome the newest residents of Mary Farm, surrounded by fellow sisters, family, and friends.
Comfort, in common divine Eucharist, says your God.
Bishop Byrne quoted St. Therese of Lisieux in his homily.
My job is to do just the smallest everyday things with great love. So what a great example for these sisters who devote your life to supporting your sisters in India in a very special way in their adoration of the Blessed Sacrament.
The sisters live by the motto love, sacrifice, and service, with a vision of leading all to God through the Eucharistic Lord. Many of the sisters from southern New England came together today and renewed their vows right here at Mary Farm.
Sister Alphonse, Sister Maria, Sister Benedicta, obedience, chastity, and poverty.
After the Mass, This remodeled barn was transformed from worship space to dining hall for a special reception that included authentic Indian cuisine and a beautifully decorated cake. That's where we met Nicole Smith and her family. Nicole and Sister Maria share a bond, working together as registered nurses.
She has a really warm, friendly smile, and she just has love in her eyes. I was born and raised Catholic, kind of have been in and out of the faith, and then recently more into the faith, and I feel like God had brought her maybe into my life as somebody who, I can talk about, Jesus with and my spiritual walk and faith. So I'm glad I met her.
Sister Maria explained that their new community at Mary Farm has chosen a name with deep meaning.
We prayed and we said it's going to be Bethel, which is God's house. So this is God's house. God provided us it. We didn't ask for it, and here we are. That's our story.
Dennis Hamill, president of the Apostolate of the Suffering, says the board has been praying for permanent residents, and one unexpected encounter became the answer to those prayers.
He happened to be bringing the Eucharist to some patients at Western Mass Hospital in Westfield.
But on that particular week, his Eucharistic minister schedule changed.
On that Saturday, he caught out of the corner of his eye. He had never seen a nun there before. So out of curiosity, he went and introduced himself and started a conversation with her.
Then he said, "Where are you living? If you are looking for a house, we have one in Palmer." I said, "Palmer, that's too far." Then he said, "Why don't you come and see?" So when we came here and we saw the place and we are here.
We feel out of divine providence that he had to change his plans for that one weekend.
A simple change in plans led to an unexpected meeting and a house that became a home.
Without of suffering, there is no Eucharist. So this is a very, meaningful mission which God takes us into.
We unite with Christ's suffering and offer our own. We want you all to know that we are here to serve, assist, and pray for your intentions. Thank you.
The sisters hope to one day dedicate a new adoration chapel open to anyone seeking time for prayer and reflection. If you feel called to donate your time and talent or would like to make a financial contribution, contact Dennis Hamill at maryfarm@comcast.net. 413-283-4529. Welcoming the sisters for Real to Real, I'm Nick Morganelli.
And Nick tells us that volunteers at Mary Farm are always grateful for more hands and hearts to help continue their ministry in Palmer. Tuesday, January 27th, marks International Holocaust Remembrance Day, when the world commemorates the lives of the 6 million Jews murdered during World War II by the Nazis. Henny Lewin, a child survivor of the Holocaust, is one of a few remaining witnesses to what is known in Hebrew as Shoah. Steve Kiltonic spoke with Lewin at her Amherst home about her miraculous escape from a Lithuanian ghetto, her hidden life with a Catholic family, and her freedom in Canada.
Her life story sounds like something from a Hollywood movie. Henny Lewin, a child survivor of the Holocaust, spoke at a meeting of the Catholic Women's Club last year. She recalled in detail her family's survival in Lithuania under the Nazis, her escape from the ghetto and secret life with a Catholic family, her family's reunion, and her new life in Canada. Lewin was born January 11, 1940 in Kaunas, or Kovna, the second largest city in Lithuania. Her parents, Jonah and Gita Wiskardiski, were from families that had lived many generations in Lithuania. Jonah, a traveling salesman, met Gita at the same company where she worked as an accountant. Lewin was a year and a half old when the Nazis invaded Lithuania on June 24, 1941. The 40,000 Jews living in Kaunas, a quarter of the city's population, were all ordered to enter the ghetto, which was sealed on August 15th.
They set it up in a slum area called Slobodka, which could hold about 6,000 Jews, 6,000 people altogether. And so now 40,000 people were crammed into these old dilapidated houses. The building that we moved into had 2 floors, and there were several families living on each floor.
3 days after arriving, 500 highly educated males volunteered to work as translators.
So those 526 thought they were going for this important job. They were all taken out, killed at the fortress.
One of those killed was her father's brother-in-law. The series of fortresses encircling the city were converted by the Nazis into death camps. Within 3 months, some 3,000 Jews were taken there and murdered. On October 28th, the Nazis held an Action Day.
They had everybody in the ghetto line up, and an officer, a Nazi, made a selection, you to the right, you to the left. And they selected out right away the oldest people, and, you know, people who were invalids or couldn't walk properly.
Lewin's grandparents, aunts, uncles, and 2 young cousins were all selected, then killed at the 9th Fort. After the Action, only 17,000 Jews remained in the ghetto. Lewin referenced a photo from her parents' wedding.
These are all the closest relatives and friends gathered for the wedding, party, and out of the entire group, only 9 people survived.
All Jewish adults and children had to wear yellow Star of David patches. Lewin's parents worked as slave laborers, getting meager rations of food for their work. Her father worked building an airport outside the city, while her mother was a seamstress with a brigade of women who sewed Nazi uniforms. Lewin's younger cousin, Shoshana, survived, but her father died at the fort while her mother was sent to a concentration camp. Shoshana became Lewin's best friend in the ghetto.
We had a few toys. We had newspapers that we made into boats and hats and took apart and so on. And she was so cute with little black curls, And I called her Lalke, which means doll. And that stuck with her.
When Lewin's mother heard that children in other ghettos were being killed, her father built a secret hiding place under their staircase so the girls wouldn't be detected. Lewin's parents soon started to look for a way to smuggle Henny out. Father Bronius Paukstis, a Catholic priest and dean of a nearby seminary, befriended Lewin's mother.
He told her that if she could smuggle children out of the ghetto, he would find homes for them.
Concerned they wouldn't be able to find Henny after the war, her parents contacted Joanna and Jonas Stankevich, a Catholic friend with 2 small girls.
The question to them was, are they willing to take me as another child? And they said yes.
A student of Father Paukstis created a fake birth certificate, and Henny Wishgardisky became...
My name was Genuta Stankevich.
Around October 1943, Henny was placed in a large suitcase in a truck that left the ghetto.
My mother was able to get some medicine from the infirmary and sedated me and put me into one of those suitcases on that truck. My dad changed drivers.
They still had to get by the Lithuanian guard at the gate.
In order for him not to check that suitcase, my mother bribed him. She gave him her gold watch and her favorite red leather boots. I think my mother did an incredible job of convincing me. You're going to have a fake mother and father. You're going to call them Mama and Papa, and you're going to have 2 sisters, and you have to pretend that you're part of that family. And I did exactly what my mother had told me. I went to church with them every Sunday. I knelt and crossed myself, said my prayers at night. I have thought about that so many times in my life when I had my own children, and now I see my little grandchild who is 3.
Henny's mother then smuggled out Shoshana and many others, risking her own life.
And Father Paukstis, with the help of nuns, placed her on a farm. And actually she was moved from that farm to another one, a pig farm. And she was not treated well at all.
Father Paukstis is credited with saving 125 Jewish children and 25 adults during the war. Lewin's parents also miraculously escaped separately, and reunited at a designated farm where they stayed until the end of the war.
Out of that ghetto, the 40,000 people in the ghetto, 500 survived, and I'm one of them.
After the war, Henny's parents found her with the Stankeviches and Shoshana on the pig farm, taking her in as one of their own. They fled Lithuania to a displaced persons camp in Germany, where the girls were placed in a Kinderheim. Henny celebrated her very first birthday party in the camp. Shoshana was reunited with her mother, who survived their concentration camp. After 3 years, the family immigrated to Israel, where Henny's mother became deathly ill, forcing the family to move to the colder climate of Canada, where her mother recuperated. Lewin attended high school in Montreal, then college, married and lived in Burlington, Vermont, where she had 3 children. She taught Yiddish and Hebrew at the University of Vermont for 19 years. Henny went back to Lithuania several times and finally reunited with Mrs. Stankevich in the 1990s. Here at the Jewish Community Center in Springfield is the Hatikva Holocaust Memorial, where local survivors and their families are remembered. Unfortunately, many of these survivors are slowly disappearing, which is why Lewin continues to speak out against anti-Semitism so history doesn't repeat itself. Henny Lewin, now 86, has given talks throughout New England for a number of years. He prefers to speak with middle and high school kids, especially about bullying.
I have been compelled because I'm one of those few survivors at this point. You know, soon it's just going to be from a book, right, or from a video of somebody who was interviewed.
Over the past few years, Lewin has seen a rise in anti-Semitism.
It's important to tell what anti-Semitism can lead to, how it starts, you know, with treating other people as the other and not human. I always tell them, I don't want you, don't be a bystander. Stop evil right in the beginning.
Over the years, certain incidents have given Lewin the strength to tell her story. After one talk, a woman came up to her.
She was a very religious Christian. She said, I think God spared you for that purpose. You have to tell. You must tell it.
Although now oceans apart, Henny lives in Amherst and Shoshana in Israel, they remain close, often sharing in their children and grandchildren's celebrations.
And when we see each other, we cry, we laugh, we hug each other, and we jump up and down like little girls. I know that because of the Holocaust, family configurations have changed, but Shoshana and I will remain sisters forever.
These child survivors of the Holocaust will always have their friendship and each other to treasure. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
Projections are that 70% of the approximate 220,000 living Jewish Holocaust survivors will pass away within the next decade. Lewin feels that because of the stark reality and the recent rise in anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial, it's even more important now to continue to tell her story, no matter how difficult it may be. Let us never forget. And for this week, that's Real to Real. Follow all of the latest news on the Catholic Church at iobserve.org. There you will find news from throughout the Diocese of Springfield, including this past week's announcement on the closing of Blessed Sacrament School in Holyoke. Plus, read articles prepared by partners at Our Sunday Visitor, and you can view past episodes and segments from Real to Real, your one accurate source on news involving the Catholic Church. And we are also on Facebook. You can follow us there at Catholic Communications. And I will see you again at this same time next week for another edition of Real to Real, your window on the world around you. Have a great week.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.